All right, so your thoughts and feelings. You gotta remember, your thoughts and feelings are just passing by. Your thoughts and feelings are actually literally like cosmic dust. Your cosmic dust is literally just material things that are related to the astral realm, as far as and encompassing, as far as the same build, as far as your body, as far as the material, even on the periodic table, it's the same shit. So when you're looking at that, you're really just looking at pieces of yourself. You're looking at energy signatures and shit like that you're able to harness in your mind, that you're able to conjure up in your mind based on the location or space you are in the esoteric realm. So wherever you are located in the esoteric realm, wherever you are in the map, from there you're gonna withdraw. You're gonna experience certain energies and things like that. And based on the timing and the positioning you was born in, based on the time and based on the space you was in, you're gonna experience certain shit more than others, different from you when you was on Arabia, for example, versus you when you were in Canada, or versus when you were in Russia, or if you are in Brazil. You would be experiencing a different disposition, a different viceroy, and you might even experience an Elohim there, a vampire, or let's just say a an organization already, someone who just came to set up camp and shit like that, and they might place you within a particular realm, within the esoteric realm, and tell you not to do certain shit based on their worldview and based on what makes them feel insecure and shit like that. And when you go against that, you might die and shit like that, go to jail for 10,000 years. Nobody ever sees you again and shit like that. So what I'm really saying is that for you to even to get to a negative space, for somebody to even be able to put you in or absorb you within a basically a facade, a farade, an orb, for them to absorb your attention into it, or conceal it, not conceal it, or to contain it, for a clear container for your attention to transmute, to be able to be memorable and shit like that, to have an effect, to be a cause for somebody, to be somebody else's cause instead of you being your own cause and shit like that. And that's when we get to your religion being, relying on something outside of you, and putting your expectation outside of you, rather than you creating an internal expectation for you to uphold an obligation that you set forth as far as a purpose that you want to uphold in the world and things like that. So it becomes very beneficial when you are able to see the world for the charade and facade that it is, and you're not getting into these type of orbs where it's putting you in a space of hatred, you being pissed off, you being annoyed at the world, you hating your family, you not knowing how to associate because you're pissed off, because you don't think there's anybody for you and things like that. Whatever you are experiencing as far as a reality right now, you need to understand that it's a set of beliefs that created the spaceship that steers your esoteric wheel, which is basically just your circle, which is just your cross. That's made up of 90 degrees, to 4, and shit like that. And so when you learn to carry that shit forth, that's your personal obligation that you're here for, to learn that you have a dark side for and a light side of, but it really doesn't matter, because both just really pertaining to the same shit. And that's just being a whole. You understanding the transmutation process throughout a whole 360, you being able to decompartmentalize it. And you don't really got to necessarily, because life is simple, God is simple, but at the same time, we in this body and shit like that. So it's like, might as well like study these things and actually do these things and learn these things and shit like that. So all these things is just realities that people set forth before you to try to encapsulate your attention as a form of energy for them to be able to drink from it and shit like that. That's what you got everybody doing. The car salesman try to identify your personality, the president try to identify with the majority and things like that. Like, or you just wanted to be liked because there's certain benefits, certain credentials that are set in that path. Let's say you go into politics and shit like that, you would want to be a person that's perceived as being liked, but behind closed doors they're not even really trying to be liked for the purposes of doing what you need them to do, lowering taxes or blah blah blah, whatever it is people look for. 2 acres in the mule, 4 acres in the mule. It's really just they gotta uphold that image, so they encapsulate the attention in that area and shape to form the energy for them to be the authority of that on earth. Because you gotta be the energy, you gotta do the authority of the energy. But the shadow government, they got all these puppeteers ways of putting examples and things outside of you to, you know, steer you in a direction based on your gender and based on how, you know, how you're categorized. You know, they went through the whole wheel. So it's like, you know, you're up against some, not up against a very powerful foe, I would say. First of all, you're your most powerful foe you're gonna fight against. When you fight that battle, then you can go to the real battle. Then you can go get promoted, because, you know, life is not hard. Life is you gotta be able to, you know, move in life. You gotta be able to. Damn, I didn't even see that one coming. Jeez. But yeah, life is not hard, man. You just gotta be able to do some esoteric mental kung fu, be able to steer those things away, or not even be in that space at all. Because you gotta be able to catch your mind drifting in that direction, because it's so natural for some people to just fucking hate. It's so natural for people to worry, doubt, and fear. It's so natural for people to be pissed off. It's so natural for people to be annoyed and all these things. And when people are in that space, you can see what they're gonna generate and shit like that. It even gets deeper, because it's like, let's say, based on your geographical location, like I said, you might experience a certain disposition, let's say, of being aggressive, being transformative, but aggressive in, like, you know, just having a lot of willpower or some shit like that. Or let's just say or even like being communicative, or just communicating adaptively to other people, you know, and shit like that. Or just being at the home area, being caring for the home and shit like that. Or, you know, you having, or in your area of dreams, imaginations and shit like that, you got a certain way of going about that and things like that. So it's like you gotta understand your own personal way of going about things as well. But at the same time, though, when you're in that space of openness, when you're in that space of love, and you've set your intent and things like that, you've set your circle, like, you know what I'm saying, you start to attract that outcome towards you, and you start to see how that can be accomplished outside of you and shit like that. When somebody really needs a cigarette, they're really gonna go out and find a cigarette, because, like, they really built that within them. So you could do the same thing with other things as well. So you could do the same thing with doing important things in your life. You could do the same thing with you know, working out, swimming, whatever the fuck you want to do. You gotta build that, you know, you gotta build that will, you gotta build that wheel, you gotta make it alive. You gotta feel alive, man. Real shit. You gotta be able to summon the power to you, you know what I mean? Like, everything around you is living, everything around you is moving, everything else is doing its job around you. So it's like, why can't we do our jobs and things like that, aka our esoteric duties, lift our crosses, and not get lost in these side dimensions that the shadow government plan out for us, and the things that get us lost that we know of in our own time, what we do to ourselves, you know, to you know, put ourselves back and not want to fucking do anything about our situation and not move forward or nothing like that. So we gotta stop. People gotta stop holding back themselves, and you gotta take accountability. You gotta take accountability for your abilities, and not just spill your shit on people and just leave it and be like, yeah, I am God. Like, you gotta take responsibility for your ability, because you're either gonna do it and present it, or you're either gonna put it on the back seat and just go get you some chickens, get you some 1 pound chickens and eat that. I feel good today, brother. I ate me some pound chickens. Praise Jesus. I feel good about myself. You know, you got all types of distractions. You got movies. You enjoy your escape. Bunch of shit to, you know, again, capture your attention. So the more you learn to give your attention to less things of the world, you can be in the world but not of it. You can actually bring things to the world that are better for the world, and you can be like a Jesus-like person. You can be a transformative-like person. You just have something about you that's just attractive, because you're really, in your mind, what's going on is not the same thing that's going on in the world, and all you're doing is just bringing it down here into the world, because everybody live in their own realm. Everybody live in their own mentality, and it's not the same as this reality. So you gotta understand how to formulate it, and depending on how far you are, you may have a master number. You might have even like a fixed star. You might have like you know, a fixed point basically, and shit like that. So you might have a characteristic and an attribute that's more intense, more amplified than other people and shit like that. So you gotta be able to harness your virtue, your principle, and be able to encapsulate that and put that into a realm, into reality. Because there's no difference between this realm and reality and that realm and reality at all. There's no difference at all. So you gotta make up a mind that gives you the best results in this reality, and you know, do something that you like. Because we're building like spaceships, we're building like warships and shit like that, and we're taking that shit for a ride down here as well, because that's what we're doing mentally. So now you got to do that mentally here as well. And if you don't do that, you got to build mental retardations for yourself. So you got to be able to ignore this reality and go in that dimensional highway and go. And God is a fast transforming motherfucker. You got to keep up with God. God is like, God is like, okay, blood cells, I expect you all to keep up. And if when you don't keep up, you're gonna get left behind. Right? You're gonna be that weak cell, that weak sperm cell. Don't nobody need you or some shit like that. But you gotta start by valuing yourself. You start by appreciating yourself and removing those negative habit patterns that exist within you, so you can start to install new habit patterns. You can start to install new understandings. You can start to understand, yourself better. First assume or know yourself, so you can move forward to a better path. And yeah, man, take care of yourself esoterically. Always clean your mind, clean your rims, your spaceship, your wheels, your chakras. So when you go out into life, when you're in your mind, when you're in your dream, wherever you are cool as a pineapple, and you're citrus and sweet as a motherfucker. You better believe it. Man, real shit.